Homelander's point of view. I awakened to another nightmare. My wife had gone after all of the evil VOD employees, and for the first time in my life I started to feel helpless and weak, and then I started crying and I said, "No, Maeve," and I started getting very angry with how pathetic I felt, and then I shouted that I won't let you die, Maeve, and then I made a decision and I told my son Ryan quickly. I said, "Ryan, I have to leave you here, son, but I swear I will be back, I promise." "Okay, I have to go get your mother, I have to protect her, and I need you to stay here." And he said, "Dad, no please," and I said, "Just do what I said, don't try and leave this room." And then I tried with all my might to reach down deep inside myself to use my dad's miraculous powers, and for a minute I struggled, and then instantly I learned everything my dad knows, and I gained infinite knowledge about everything, and then my head started hurting and I screamed loudly, and then Ryan said, "Dad, what's wrong?" And I said, "Nothing, son, I'm fine." And he said, "Dad, you're bleeding from your nose, you're not fine." And then I connected to the very foundation of our earth and everyone in it. I could see everything that everyone else sees, and I said, "I'm fine, son, I'll bring her back, I promise." And then I saw Maeve, and then I used my powers to teleport myself to her location, and I screamed and I said, "Maeve," and then I appeared in front of Maeve and I said, "Maeve, I can't let you do this alone. I can't let you die for me. I can help you, Maeve, let me help you." And she said, "John, you used your father's powers, what if it killed you?" And I said, "It's too late to tell me all that it almost did, and I can use my father's powers to help you, Maeve, you just need to let me help you, please." And she said, "Oh, okay, fine, but I'm going to have to kill some people, so please don't get in my way." And I said, "I have no intention of stopping you from doing what you want to do, but maybe I could try erasing their memories with my powers. I just need time to train my powers, Maeve." And she said, "We don't have any more time, John, our time is up right now, what we need is a miracle." And I said, "You know what, I might be able to help you with that." And she started to almost cry helplessly as she said, "How are you going to give us a miracle? It's impossible." And I said to Maeve, "Don't ever lose hope." And then I said, "I feel something overwhelming that I didn't feel before, I believe I can do it." And then I stuck my hand out to feel Madeline Stillwell, and I felt Stan Edgar, and then I did something I never did before. I erased their memories completely, and then I erased all the VOD employees' memories of ever having them been ordered to harm me or my family. And then I started to bleed from my eyes and my nose, and then my eyes rolled back and I passed out again, and Maeve started screaming again and she said, "Oh my God, not again, John, what have you done?" And then I passed out for another 2 days, and me and Maeve were now back together in a hotel room, and I was now naked laying in bed with Maeve on top of me, and I smiled and she saw that I am awake again, and she said, "Oh my God, John, are you okay?" And I said, "I did it, Maeve, I erased their memories, they can't hurt us anymore because most of them can't even remember our names." And I smiled and I said to myself, "I did it. I did the impossible, I saved myself and my family." And then me and Maeve made love again passionately during the afternoon and all night, and right now Maeve was on top of me in the cowgirl position, and I was now sitting up kissing her neck and sucking her beautiful breasts with my mouth on her nipples, and we were both sweating passionately, and I was still thrusting her from the cowgirl position, and I was on bottom thrusting her really fast now for nearly 2 days, and then me and her both ejaculated, and then we both passed out in each other's arms, and Maeve passed out on top of me with my member still inside her vagina, and Maeve said, "Oh my God," repeatedly, and she was now crying with tears of joy and sexual happiness, and then we both fell asleep exhausted and tired. And this is the end of my story, because me and my father were powerful enough to save this world with our powers. I didn't let VOD dictate me, and then I went back to the bunker to get my son, and I told my father, "Benjamin, I did it, Dad, I saved us."